A question I frequently get asked is, now a good time to buy property or should I wait till the market crashes? In this video, I want to share with you exactly what I think you should be doing in this market. If you're watching my videos for the first time, my name is Hussain, and on this channel I share with you my 15 years of property investing experience to ultimately help you get further faster in your own property investing journey. So when's going to be the right time to buy property? Do you jump on the bandwagon now to make sure you don't miss out? Because it seems like everybody and their dog is buying a house right now. So is it the right time to buy? Or is the market going to crash? Because let's face it, the market is going to crash. Yes, I said that right. The market is going to crash. The only thing is we don't know when it's going to crash, because the market moves in cycles. It's based on supply and demand. Right now there's a limited amount of supply and there's a huge amount of demand, which is what's creating this situation in the market right now. When I was early in my property journey around 2009, what I was doing was sourcing property for other people. What this meant was I was going out finding good property investment opportunities and then packaging those up and passing them to somebody else, essentially charging them a fee for that opportunity and overseeing it all the way to completion to the point that they got keys. And I'll charge a fee for that. So sometimes people call it sourcing property or packaging property. Whatever you want to call it, that's essentially what I was doing at that time, or glorified agent if you like, but it meant I was earning some kind of income. Now, I was falling over deals pretty much every single day. How is that possible? Well, it's quite simply back to what we were talking about earlier on about supply and demand. At that time, there was a huge amount of supply on the market, but very limited demand. So what that means, there were many more motivated sellers, people that were just keen to sell because there were just so few buyers out there. So why were there so few buyers at that time? Well, the market was still falling, it was crashing at the time, and there was a huge amount of uncertainty. It was essentially around the time of the previous market crash, the credit crunch. And at that time, the market had taken quite a significant fall and people were concerned about when is it going to hit the bottom. Now, is it a right time to buy when the market's still falling? It's actually quite difficult to tell when we hit the bottom of the market. The only time we really know is once we can look back, and it's after the event and when we start moving up again that we know we've hit the bottom and it's starting to move up. And many people I was speaking to at the time were looking for deals, but they says, hey, look, I'm not sure right now is a good time and I want to wait until the market's at the bottom. And I was still quite early in my journey. I was scratching my head thinking, when's the market going to be at the bottom? It's a good deal right now. And what I thought was a good opportunity was not necessarily what everybody else thought was a good opportunity. What I mean by that is when I talk about a good opportunity, it was really something that was going to make us profit from property. But other people maybe are looking for a discount in property. Other people may be looking for the maximum rent they're going to generate out of property, because people have a different criteria in terms of what they're looking for. At that time, I really did not have very much money. I'd started in property really as a way of learning to be able to build up something for the long term, something quite substantial. I'd already come out of quite a difficult, messy situation and really just struggling to find a way and try and move forward. One of the ways I would sell deals would I'd go to my previous clients from my IT days who I knew had a little bit of money and maybe interested in property that might be able to sell a deal to. That was kind of really my starting point. I remember one client in particular who was very comfortable, had quite a lot of cash, was very successful in his business, and he'd had plenty of money around him. There's certainly no doubt around that. But very quickly I realized why he had so much cash. He would make money in his businesses and he was always keen to get involved in property, but he would really struggle to get moving in property because he was so fearful about buying at the right time. He wanted to buy at the lowest point of the market, and really what that meant was there was just so much indecision. He never really made a move and got onto the property ladder. And so what that meant is all these opportunities used to come along and I used to speak to him about them, but he would never commit to any of them. And it was really frustrating for me because I was thinking, hey, look, if I had the money, I'd be all over this deal because I could see the potential opportunities that not only did it presented right now, but in the future what was going to be possible. Because look, let's face it, one of the reasons that we get involved in property is because we believe in the long term prices are going to go up and up and up over time. Now, do they consistently go up? Oh, they don't. I'm just giving an example. In the market crashed quite substantially a few years ago. But overall, in the long run, we know prices go up. I say we know, we're confident that's going to happen, and that's why we invest in property for the long term. So even now when the market's so hot, people know it will still continue to rise at some point. There's only a limited amount of supply, and that's what we have to remember. The market is quite constrained in terms of what is available and the demand. And as this adjusts and changes, It determines what is the right type of property we should be buying and when we should be buying. Fast forward to today, some 12, 13 years later, and the market is on fire. Everything is selling pretty much just like that. People are scrabbling over and fighting over each other to buy that property like it's going out of fashion. Is it going to continue like that? No, not necessarily. It's going to evolve, but does that mean we now sit on our hands and we wait till the market's going to be quieter, there'll be more opportunities, and then we start buying? Well, look, we don't know when that's going to happen. And you could be waiting for 6 months, 2 months, 5 years. It could be a long time before the market changes, before you feel comfortable and ready to be able to buy property. But the reality is the strategies that we use evolve. So if you're thinking in a one-dimensional way, which is what I need to do is buy property when it's cheap, when the price is low, when I can get a discount off the market price, then you are missing all these other opportunities that exist out there. As the market evolves, your strategy should also evolve. So say 2006, 2007, at that time people were buying property off plan. They were looking at a piece of paper or drawing and say, yes, I'll have that, I'll buy that property. It doesn't even exist, but they commit to buying it, but they may not even have the money to be able to complete on the purchase. But the strategy at the time was, by the time it's built, it'll be worth significantly more. So before they have to complete on the transaction, they'll sell it to somebody else and they'll make some money. And that was a great strategy for that time. As long as the market continued to rise, people made money in that way. But that strategy doesn't exist right now. Also, another strategy that worked really well at the time, people would look for motivated sellers where they could get a discount to say 15, 20% of the market value. Then they'd go and get a same day remortgage of say 85%. What that meant was they would buy a property in the morning using bridging finance, and in the afternoon they would remortgage it and really extract all their money out of it and end up with a property using none of their own money. And some people call that the no money down strategy at the time. So why is that not being used right now? Because the market is different, the strategy is different, the techniques are different, the lenders don't offer those products right now. It's all about evolving. The property, as I mentioned earlier, moves in cycles, and you have to adapt and work with those cycles so that you're using the right strategy for the location that you're in, that ties in with what your ultimate objective is that you're trying to achieve. This is about not being one-dimensional and looking at what the different opportunities exist so you can benefit from the ones that exist right now, rather than sitting on your hands and waving goodbye to the opportunities as they pass you. Look, here's the point I'm trying to make. There's always going to be reasons why you would talk yourself out of why is now not the right time for you to buy property. What I'm saying to you is you need to think about why now may be the right time, and that's thinking about which strategies work now, as opposed to thinking about outdated ones which really don't work right now. Or it may be you're in a certain part of the country where those strategies don't work right now. So it's thinking about how can you benefit from all these opportunities that are existing in the marketplace right now. The government has already shown us they are determined to support the property market. They are not going to let it collapse. Last year, in May 2020, the Bank of England was talking about potentially a 16% drop in property prices. But what's happened? The opposite has happened. Prices have shot through the roof. They're at the highest point that they've been for a long time. Does that mean last year, if you'd listened to that piece of news, you'd be sitting around waiting, thinking, well, the price is going to fall and then I'm going to buy? Even I was thinking at the time prices might fall, but it didn't mean that we stopped buying. We were just looking, how can we still benefit from the opportunities that may be presented themselves to us? So what kind of opportunities are presenting themselves to us right now? As I said, the government is determined to support the property market. Boris is talking about build, build, build. He wants to get the property market moving. One of the things they've done is relax the planning system quite significantly in certain parts, making it so much easier for us as property investors and developers to benefit from some of those things. Some of the things we struggled to maybe have done in the past, now it means that those windows of opportunity are opening, but are you ready and are you going to be prepared to take advantage of those opportunities? The door is opening, but are you ready to walk through it? So in conclusion, when is the right time to buy property? The right time to buy property is right now. You should take advantage of the opportunities that exist in any marketplace. You should always be buying property, but the key thing is buying the right property using the right strategy that works for you. So look, if you need any help in that, just reach out to us. We're putting together some more programs. So I want to try and do the very best I can to help you in your property investing journey. There are a number of people that helped me when I was early in my property journey. They made such a big difference in accelerating what I was doing. There would have been so many more mistakes that I would have made had I just plodded along on my own, trying to figure it out on my own. And this YouTube stuff, it never even existed at that time. So we have this added advantage. There's so much free information here as well. But if you want some further assistance, look, just reach out to us and we'll do what we can to help you. Every week I spend time researching topics that I think you'll benefit from and putting together the content that ultimately I think that will help you get further faster in your property investing journey, because that's essentially what I want to be able to do. But as I'm doing that every week, hopefully you'll also have noticed that the quality of the content and the quality of the videos is constantly improving. And I'd just like to ask for one thing in exchange for that, and it costs you absolutely nothing at all. And that's to subscribe to the channel. And the reason I'm asking in this way is because when I look at the YouTube analytics, so many people that watch my videos are not actually subscribers. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, look, if you're enjoying the video, if you do subscribe to the channel, all that will do is help the YouTube machine think, hey, Saj's content must be really good. Let's show it to more people just like you. And that's all I ask for. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. But just before you go over to watch the next video I've got lined up here next for you, which is going to follow on from what we're talking about today, remember, subscribe to the channel. You can click on my face just down here as well to also subscribe.